Hello and welcome back. Bad Raven here, and decided to change out the posters today. I had the Friday 13th sign stuff from Scarefest 9 up for so long, so I decided to change them up and put a few other posters up, the movies I liked in the past. This one from part 3 was actually from the Corbin Cinema 4 Days when I worked there as assistant manager, and I got this poster with Back to the Future Part 2, which is in the game room. And I didn't like this one as much, but when I was going out, I was grabbing all the posters I could, and this was one of them. It's double-sided, and it definitely shows up all the, with the lights on this display case. It looks awesome. It looks totally awesome, and really shows up all the actors in it, as you can tell. Looks really cool. Okay, and then the dining room area. Excuse the mess. But I changed up the other two, Friday 13 1 and 2, with the ones I told you about before that I had. These are original posters. They don't pop as much as because they are not double-sided, because back in the day when these come out, these posters were single-sided, which means it's just printed on one side of the paper. And when you backlight them like this in a movie case, it kind of washes out the colors. I wish they were double-sided, but see, they didn't do that back in the day, so you couldn't really get that in your quality. But this one here, I waited for a long time on eBay, and it finally went down in price. And I just love the sword, the bad guy, the good guy, and the damsel in distress with the snake. It's just a totally cool poster. Really like that artwork. It's a lusty epic of revenge and magic, Dungeons and Dragons, wizards and witches, damsels in desire, and a warrior caught between. Sword and the sorcery. And of course, my classic for me, Crawl, original poster, single-sided. Beyond our time, beyond our universe, there's a planet besieged by alien invaders, where a young king must rescue his love from the clutches of the beast, or risk the death of his world. Crawl, a world light years beyond your imagination. I know I'm not much of a trailer person as far as my voice, but I did the best I could. Yep, I decided to change that, and it looks pretty awesome. Alright, I'm going to change my camera angle and be right back. Hello and welcome back. Bad Raven here again. I just showed you the posters I changed out, and I've switched to the camera here in the dining room of the posters behind me that I just showed you of the Sword and Sorcery and Crawl. But I felt like shaking everything up today, so that's why I changed that before I did my video. Today's video is going to be on some classic 80s teen movies. The two different styles. You got your wild style with your coming of age. They're both coming of age things, but one's dirtier than the other. But I'll start out with the tamer ones that I watched back in the 80s with my sisters and stuff. And we were going to high school, and stuff like that, like these kids were going through in these movies. So I guess that's why they resonate so well with me. Because they're going through some of the stuff you were experiencing or you thought was life-altering at the time. So a couple of these are in Blu-ray and a couple in DVD. So my first one is, of course, the classic, The Breakfast Club. This movie had Emilio Estevez in it, Molly Ringwald, Judd Nelson, Ali Sheedy, and I can't think of his name. What is his name? Anthony Michael Hall. It's good. I can read. I went to college. But anyway, this is the 25th, or this is the 30th anniversary Blu-ray that I got a long back, about a year ago or so, and upgraded my DVD copy to this and had the digital copy too, and added that to my Vudu account. But this movie is really a good movie for teenagers to watch. it's a little slow to today's standards for kids. So they might not be able to sit through the whole thing like we did. But some of the stuff that they cover in it is a little over dramatic. But back when you were a kid, I guess you thought those things were as important as to these kids. Some of it very relevant, some of it not. I liked all the performances of all 5 of the characters. Molly Ringwald's in a lot of these movies. Because John Hughes, who directed or wrote these, he really liked her as an actress, so he put her in a lot of the different movies. But this was one of the first that I remember watching, and these might be out of order about the years that they came out, but this one was one of the top ones that we watched a lot in our household. On VHS, we rented them from the video store, but that's a really good movie for people that's in high school, kids in high school that would like to watch this type of movie. So that's The Breakfast Club. Another Blu-ray that I finally upgraded Blu-ray was 16 Candles. Still has Anthony Michael Hall, Molly Ringwald, and I forget this fellow's name, but it's another crazy one. And this one's rated PG, and I remember watching this when I put the digital copy in my Voodoo account, and it shows nudity big time. And I'm like, I didn't know PG was that raw back in the day. So, I mean, it was really a lot more in it than I remembered, as far as growing up. I'd say when I was growing up, I still remembered that, but then I had forgotten over the years. But it had a little bit of bad language and, of course, the nudity I was telling you about, and the infamous shower scene. I don't know we call it shower scene, but, in the locker room, the girls' locker room. But this one was... Anthony Michael Hall was younger, so this evidently came out before Breakfast Club, and it revolves around this girl's birthday. When she turns 16, nobody forgets her birthday, and it's got a lot of good comedy parts in it. And people say you can't watch this nowadays because of the stuff that they some of the characters in it that they use stereotypes of, but I mean, we wasn't so politically correct as we are nowadays that we can't watch movies and just know that they're movies and they're not real life. But this one was really good, and it still holds up today. If you have a young teenager, would probably like it. Might have to watch some of the more graphic scenes I told you about. A really good movie. All right, moving on. We got the third movie with Molly Ringwald in it, and this one's in DVD. I don't have this on Blu-ray. It's Pretty in Pink. It's got, of course, Molly Ringwald. Let me name these other fellas off. Andrew McCarthy and John Cryer. John Cryer is on 2.5 Men TV show. I liked this movie, but the ending I didn't care for because I thought the character played by John Cryer was Ducky. He was like madly in love with I don't want to spoil the movie for people that haven't watched it in the past 30 years, but he really likes this character because he grew up with her and stuff, and she likes the rich boy on the end. Needless to say, it doesn't turn out the way I like at the very end of it, and I think that they kind of shortchanged the Ducky character in it, and you'll have to watch it and maybe find out what I'm talking about. But it's still a good movie. It's still a very good movie. I like watching it nowadays. And people say, well, you're a guy. You're supposed to watch movies called Pretty in Pink. That sounds a little weird for a guy. You got to understand, I was raised around quite a few girls. So, I mean, I would have to sit down there. I'd have to watch some movies that they like because, I mean, they're going to watch everything I like. So, in that way, when I sat down, not that I wanted to, but I sat down to watch something with them, I ended up liking some of the movies that they liked. I told you about the Grease musical thing that I like, even though it's probably not PC to say that you're a guy and you like that. But this one I really like too because, like I said, it was in the teenage years of my life, and I really, it really took, it helps you out. I guess it show you that all teenagers have problems, and that's why I like 16 Candles. Pretty in Pink. Excuse me. Now this one is a DVD that me and my son and my niece Chloe and nephew Nathan watched just recently, and it's Some Kind of Wonderful. I do not know why I don't have this on Blu-ray. I don't know if it's not on Blu-ray, the reason I don't, or if I just have never found it. But this score stars Eric Stoltz. My eyes are getting bad, people. And Mary Stuart Masterson and a girl from Back to the Future, which is Leah Thompson. I'll get it right. Sorry for the long pause there. But it's kind of like the reverse of Pretty in Pink. Instead of being about the main girl, it's about the guy, Eric Stoltz's character, and him, going on after high school to where his dad wants him to go to college, and him wanting to be an artist and stuff like that. And he falls for Leah Thompson characters. She's not really a rich girl, but she hangs with the rich girls in the movie. And of course, his sidekick, tomboy, Mary Stuart Masterson, is madly in love with him. So you kind of see the correlation between Pretty in Pink and this movie. But it turns out to be a real. If you watch this movie, I don't care if you're a teenager or not. If you watch this movie, it's a really good movie because it's a wholesome movie, and you root for the good guy in this one. And of course, you got to have a bad guy in there too. But they put him in his place at the end of the movie. But I really, really recommend this one over all the ones I've just shown. It is the best one of the group. I am going to upgrade this to Blu-ray as soon as I can. But Some Kind of Wonderful, definitely watch that. All right, I got a few more, then I'll wrap it up. Now these are more sex comedies back in the 80s, and they were the big thing, that came out that a boy my age was dying to go see and snuck into the movies to see. And of course, the classic in my brain is Porkies. Porkies is definitely not for kids. It's supposed to be for kids, not for kids under 17. But I know I watched it before that age. I kind of snuck into the Mitchell Theater because back then they had a little old lady at the ticket booth. Barely could see over the ticket booth, so she didn't really card us, So I got to watch this movie, and of course it warped my brain thoroughly, and I still have fond memories of this movie, but it is definitely not for everybody out there in my listening audience. I know this is the family channel, but still, it was a movie that I liked back in the day, and you can tell why. Moving on. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Blu-ray. This one's a little raunchy too, but not nearly as bad as Porky's. It does have some scenes that are very embarrassing, so I wouldn't know if I could watch it with my kids, or my kid. But it is funny. It's got a lot of hilarious scenes in it. It's got, let's see, I know what girl, Phoebe Cates, which has a really memorable scenes in it, and Judd Reinhold, I think is his name, and some of these other people I don't know their names. Of course, we have Sean Penn before he was the big serious Sean Penn as the surfer dude in it, and it has a pretty deep scenes in it too, not just crazy comedy, but it does have everything a teenager might fall into and beyond. But I really like this movie, and I think you can't go wrong with watching Fast Times. Lastly but not leastly is Revenge of the Nerds. This movie was the movie that we were going to go watch. I was in high school. I was going to go watch it at the Mitchell Theater, and it burnt down before we could go see it, so we had to wait till the VHS came out and watched it. And it doesn't disappoint for your very coming of age college kids and partying and all the going on with nerds and jocks and stuff like that. But it was a crazy movie back in the day, and still a crazy movie today. And I really enjoyed it, and it's definitely lighthearted, fun. If you like, a little, it's rated R for a reason. If you like those types of movies, and I think it holds up well over the years. It's about nerds overcoming persecution. So that was my final one, and I just decided to make this video because I'd done all the different types of the other types of movies, my action and my sword and sorcery. I kind of wanted to show you some of the comedies from the 80s that I really enjoy watching on occasions. And as my son gets older, I like to add in a few that I'd seen. But I just want to thank you all for watching the video and being patient with us here, and letting us come out with our content try that on a regular basis. But we thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you later, and goodbye.